Today we're going to be talking about one of the most controversial pieces of technology that's taking over the country.
Flock cameras.
Flock camera.
The Flock system.
AI-powered camera.
You might be getting flocked.
Flock cameras. They're one of the biggest debates happening around the country right now, and it's important for you to know not only what they are, but who they come from and what they do. Flock Safety was a company founded in 2017 by three co-founders that were based in Atlanta, Georgia, after they went to Georgia Tech. The company was founded with the goal in mind that they wanted to create a system that eliminated crime altogether. And they did this by connecting their devices in one system that connected not only visual, but also audio and response systems. Since their founding in 2017, they found massive growth, with their valuation last year at $7.5 billion. This is largely due to their government contracts and connections with law enforcement. They follow the business model of safety as a service, where they're selling safety to local municipalities, elected officials, and law enforcement, with the promises of not only preventing crime, but also helping to solve it. So while the brand is called Flock, the technology itself are actually ALPRs, or Automated License Plate Readers. These are high-speed camera setups that capture vehicle license plates with timestamps and locations. Now on Flock's official website, they have 5 core competencies that they maintain are at their focus. 1 being safety for all, 2nd, privacy first, 3, to protect, not overstep, 4, driven by principle, and 5, fair collaboration. Then why is it that there's so many sneakily placed cameras like this one that folks are finding in their neighborhoods?
Yeah, you might think it's just an innocent little speed reader, right?
Oh, look at this. Volusia Sheriff's own this one.
But what lurks on the back of it? Not there, but right there. Look at that. Someone did some custom metal fabricating and decided to put a Flock camera, a mobile one, anywhere they want to put it in the speed reader.
Now these are the 5 pillars that they're saying are helping to build trust with the community members. Check out this video from their official website from their CEO about what they think about trust.
Hey, I'm Garrett Langley. Flock is built on this single belief that safety can be a fundamental human right. Everyone deserves to feel safe. That should be regardless of your zip code, your income, your race, or anything that makes us this incredibly beautiful and diverse country. And we do that by creating technology that helps make public safety more objective and fair. We can reduce bias while protecting privacy and ultimately reducing crime.
Now despite all the playground noises and mellow music in the background, there's something that isn't quite trustworthy about that face. But don't worry, they're really serious about it. If you check out the URL in the page, it's actually www.flocksafety.com/trust. And they trust their community so much that the same video on YouTube actually has their comments turned off for all their 333 viewers. Now sure, if this technology was perfect and it was flawless and actually did not only prevent but also solve and reduce crime, then maybe this technology would be worth the sacrifices. But the reality is they're selling false promises. People are sacrificing their civil liberties and their right to privacy and protection of their own data. Flock claims the purpose of this technology is to focus on things like Amber Alerts, missing persons, and stolen cars. But the reality is it's being abused, both by officers and other law enforcement agencies. There have been several instances where officers have been seen using Flock cameras to satisfy their own personal needs, wants, and obsessions. There's also been proof that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has been using Flock cameras and their data to hunt immigrants and their families. Not to mention the recent report that a vice president of Flock personally accessed a camera at a children's gymnasium room in Georgia last year. So as Flock's being brought to more and more communities around the country, citizens have just made questions. Like who owns the data? Who has access to it? How do we keep it secure? And how do we hold Flock accountable? In many cities around the country, there's a demand to ensure that Flock cameras and their locations are made public and accessible to everyone. The goal is to ensure that if you do have Flock cameras in your city, at least you know where they are and when you're being watched. And surprisingly, even though this is a very political issue, this is not so much a partisan issue. Even in cities like Louisville, Kentucky, where the majority of Metro Council members are Democrats, there were only 4 that voted in favor of making the location of Flock cameras public information, with 1 member voting present and the rest voting in favor of keeping the locations hidden. And then in a city like Troy, New York, where their city council actually voted in favor of canceling the Flock contract they had with the city, the mayor overrode their votes by declaring a public emergency. See what the city citizens had to say.
There's been a nationwide concern about Flock cameras. Some people
feel like they need to take matters into their own hands when their government is not. Right now, that this technology is totally unrestricted and can be used without a warrant, right? Do you want somebody to be following you around town without a warrant? You want there to be probable cause, you want there to be a due process, right? And there aren't any rules around that right now.
The reality is we do live in an era of mass surveillance. From ring cameras to air tags on autonomous vehicles to meta glasses and flock cameras, even our phones. There is seldom a time during the day that you aren't being watched. The good news is we don't have to resign to that reality quite yet. An organization called Deflock is making it their mission and their goal to not only hold Flock accountable, but also educate the public on what, where, and how Flock cameras operate. Their efforts have led to over 120,000 license plate readers being mapped out in their open source project, as well as pushing out license plate reading technology in over 94 cities around the country. Along with their work, there are several other tools and projects being made by people around the country whose goal is to protect privacy and also keep track of the growth of this surveillance technology. From platforms that help you map out driving routes to avoid flock cameras, to another platform that helps you keep track of meetings and legislation being pushed in your municipality or your city, there are plenty of grassroots initiatives leading the fight against flock. Remember how important Flock said community trust was? Well, their attitude changes a little bit when it comes to community criticism. Listen to what their CEO Garrett Langley had to say about Deflock.
There's an organization called Deflock, who are semi-well known now, I guess, if you're interested in this stuff, who take a fairly aggressive approach in terms of counting the number of cameras and having a Discord channel where they talk about potential, activities to move against Flock and stop it expanding. What do you think of that organization and the way they go about their business?
Yeah, so I think there's really two groups of activists. You've got organizations like the ACLU and the EFF who take an above-board approach to fight for their point of view. And thankfully, we live in a beautifully democratic, capitalistic country where we can fight in court. And I have a lot of respect for those groups because they have reasonable debates and we follow the law. And then unfortunately, there's terroristic organizations like Deflock, whose primary motivation is chaos. They are closer to Antifa than they are anything else. And that, I think, is unfortunate because we don't want chaos, or I don't want chaos. I like law and order.
So if that's how he responds to that criticism, imagine what he's going to do when he sees how citizens around the country are pushing back against not only his company, but also his technology.
Your community is telling you that we don't want this.
I think we should completely remove them.
Check out some of these videos of how people are using trash bags to fight back against unwanted flock cameras in their neighborhoods. And criticism is not just coming from Deflock and organizations like theirs. It's coming from journalists, civil rights organizations, citizens, elected officials. It's coming from everyday people that are fed up with their privacy being taken away. So let me know in the comments. What do you think about Flock and their technology? Do you want them coming to your city?